Hey, Tony Gassick here. Now listen, you're gonna need some time, okay? You're gonna need a pen, you're gonna need a pad. We're gonna go to school on this, and you gotta understand that these lessons are not easy to consume. Now, this is based on 15 years of personal study in the relationship space, being in the trenches, working on relationships every day with people from around the world. Prime example, yesterday I just was coaching individuals in the UK. Later today, I will be coaching individuals on their relationship. Last night, not only did I coach someone in their mid 30s, but I coached someone in their 50s. So now my client range in the relationship space has been from the age of 16 to the age of 73. All races and colors and nationalities and genders. So I want you to understand where it's coming from. Now, it's something that I'm seeing today. It's something that I'm noticing. And it is very, very intriguing to me. First, what I want you to understand is the way that I'm defining pretty is not my definition. So do not get in your feelings if you do not fall into the societal standard of pretty. You know how you define pretty. You know when you look at a certain type of woman, you say, "Ooh, she is pretty." Why do you say that? You say that because of society's definition of pretty. You say that because she looks similar to someone from a magazine, from a movie, from a commercial. That does not mean that she is one shape. That does not mean that she is one color. That does not mean that she is one size. That does not mean that. But the way we define who we think is attractive and who we think is unattractive is based on what we have been fed 9 out of 10 times. Very few people, and I would say less than 1% of humans, are able to look at someone and see them for who they are. To look at someone and see their beauty, even if it falls outside of the beauty constructs of our world. Before you get in the comments and go to talking left and right and out your neck, sit down and listen. Listen to the video objectively. Remove your feelings. You cannot grow if your feelings in the way. Now I'm finna help you understand something. I went to Pilates class the other day, and there was a lady in the class. And when she walked in the class, the instructor said, "You sent your husband without you yesterday." And she said, "Yes, he has come multiple times without me." This lady, she was not your typical size that is served to you in the magazines and in the movies. She was probably twice that size. Did not look bad at all, but it is an acquired taste. It's not a size that an average man is going to look at and say, "Wow, that is the most amazing shape." That's because that's not what he's fed. Yet this lady married. I looked across from me, and there was another married lady. She was about half the size of the size that is served to us as the perfect feminine physique. And she had a big rock on her finger. And as I have been looking around, I am noticing that there are a lot of women who do not fit inside of the beauty constructs of our world who are married, and there are countless women who fit the bill of beautiful or pretty, and they are single. So now let me help you understand something, and this is from a male perspective. And this does not apply to every woman who you deem or we deem as attractive. This does not apply to every woman, but this is on average, and this is what I'm finding. And you got to sit with this. So what we have is when you have a woman who has been called pretty, she has been deemed as pretty, and we will use that word interchangeably with beautiful, although we can define it differently. But we'll use those words interchangeably on this video. This woman, think about this. This woman, if she has been that way or if she grew into that way. So if she has been that way, doors have been opened for her. Whereas the woman who looks the opposite of her, doors have been slammed in her face. This woman has been catered to. She has found favor with teachers, with coaches. Guys have chased her. Guys have praised her. Her desk was full of the candy grams, the love grams on Valentine's in school. She got secret admirer letters. She got flowers. If she has always been considered pretty. So what that does is it spoils her. It shows her the best of the world. It shows her that she deserves the best. It shows her that very few people are worthy of her time and attention. It makes her feel that way. And she has the pick of the litter, so now she becomes very, very selective. And she has the ability, because 50 men want her, she has the ability to say, I don't want a man with a pot belly. I don't want a man with a crooked tooth. I don't want a man with a big nose. I don't want a man who's under 6 foot tall. I don't want a man who is not muscular, who is not athletically built. I don't want a man with no hairline or a receding hairline. I don't want a man who makes less than $100,000. So now, subconsciously and then sometimes consciously, she creates this list. And this list is very extensive, even though it may not be written down. And this list has all of these requirements of what she's looking for in a man, because she is afraid to settle. Because she feels like settling has more to do with looks and financial status than it does with character. And frankly, she really doesn't know what good character looks like, because she's been bombarded by the representative of men her whole life. So she really doesn't understand male character, male integrity, because all she has really been introduced to is posturing, a man perpetrating and faking. Whether he's good or bad, they show her the same thing. And so now she really does not know what a real man looks like. But yet she's trying to define him in her mind. And what she is asking for, she's asking for a man who is of supreme height, 6 foot or taller. The average man in America is 5'9". Not sure what country you in, but you can Google what's the average height of a man in India, what's the average height of a man in the UK, wherever you are, in Africa. So now she wants a man that is 6 foot or taller. She wants him to be athletically built. She wants him to make 6 figures. Now the song is saying 8 figures. That's my type. 8 figure. That's my type. I'm like, wow. It's hard enough to get to 6 figures. Now they pushing the narrative of 8 figures. Do you know how many single and upset and lonely women it's finna be if they subconsciously listen to this song and now they want a man with 8 figures? That's $10 million a year. And so that right there, you really ain't finna meet that. And so now think about this. So now this man that she is describing is a unicorn. But here's the thing. For there to be a woman who is considered pretty by society and by God, God think we all look good. And she has good character. She has integrity. She makes good money. Does she make 6 figures? She makes 7 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures. She's athletically built. She also would be seen as a unicorn. But what you have so often is a woman with the looks, but not the body or not the brand. When I talk about the 3 B's that I created, brain, brand, body, basically breaking down our life into those 3 parts: brain, brand, body. Your faith will go into your brain and your brand, basically. Brain, brand, body. So typically we have one of those B's. Sometimes we're fortunate to have 2 of those B's. And it is also subjective. So I could say, oh, I got my body right, but I'm 5'10". So I may not have the body B if I'm a single man and 50% of women are looking for a man 6 foot or taller. Now, 2 inches may not be all the noticeable by everybody, but most of the time. So I may not have that B. I could have a company, a business, a job, a career, so I got the brand. And then I could be articulate, well-spoken, well-read, knowledgeable, man of faith, so I could have the brains. The brains and the brand, but if she's looking for 6 foot or taller, wouldn't have the body, even if I got an 8-pack of abs. Then some women will go as far to see, because she's been spoiled by society, will go as far to see what he working with down there below the belt. What she deems as sufficient probably is based on what she's heard or her experience. And so a man could have the money, he could have the height, he could have the mindset, he could have the brand, but then come up a little short beneath the belt. And for that reason, and that reason alone, he get passed up by this woman. Now, if she's saving herself to marriage, or she abstinent for X amount of time, or she don't want to do anything sexual, she might just judge him based off the print in the gray sweatpants or his bathing suit when he come up out the water, and that suit pressing down on him. And he getting left for that. He's getting left for that because she's been told, or she's been made to believe, that you're going to have a life of misery if that man got him a shrimp cocktail down there. So she gone about her business. So what I have found in talking to these women who are desired by men and desired by women is, most of the time, it's 2 different types. It's one type of woman who thinks she is her, and she is not. She thinks she is, but she cannot see herself through the eyes of a man. And so she is walking around saying, I am a great catch. But a man don't want to catch her like he don't want to catch a cold. But she don't know that, because her daddy loves her. Her dad on earth and her dad in heaven loves her and have filled her with confidence. And rightfully so. She should be confident. But we also got to be realistic. And I want y'all to understand the realism. What I mean by this is when I tell y'all that I cannot get a woman who is highly desired. If I was a single man, I can't get a woman who is highly desired in society because I'm under 6 foot tall. Now, unless you got 7 figures. When a man hits 7 figures, he could be 5'4". Prime example, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's wife is very beautiful. Not to say that she's with him for the money, but we also can't say otherwise, because we see a difference in societal standards from his first wife to his second wife. So when somebody judges that, although his first wife is beautiful in the eye of the beholder, and his second wife could be beautiful in the eye of the beholder, it's going to be subjective. But then if you place them on society standards, society will say this person is deemed beautiful and this person is not so much. And then it says, okay, well, if this person is, and y'all got to understand, I'm not speaking from me, okay? I'm speaking from the world view. I'm speaking from the world. Understand that, okay? but this stuff is painful sometimes when we talk about this, but we got to have real conversations on this channel. So from the world view, they say, okay, when he was broke, was not making six figures, at 5'4", this is the type of woman, this is the look of the woman he could get. This look is not praised and is not celebrated. But then when he became rich, 6 figures or 7 figures, this is the type of woman he could get. And this look is praised by society standards. So then that then implies that money was the difference. That a man who would otherwise be overlooked by a certain standard or status of woman is now accepted because of he can stand on his money. And we see the same thing in several different scenarios. When you look at a Forrest Whitaker, or I don't know what his wife looked like, but what I'm saying, or you look at a Morgan Freeman, you look at a Rick Ross, you look at even Floyd Mayweather, you look at a Jay-Z. None of those, and for some of those guys, it's looks that would be overlooked in your everyday world where money and fame is not attached. Like, now it's always bots in the comments that say, oh, Morgan Freeman sexy, and it will say, oh, Forrest Whitaker, I love that eye, I love the way that eye squint. And it's always like bots that say stuff like that just to, mess up the conversation. But when we take away the fame and we take away the talent and we take away the money, is the 8th grade version, the 12th grade version, and the college senior version of those men celebrated. Now, it's different when you see a man with his childhood or his younger days wife, like a LeBron James. That is an organic fit because she was with him before the name. Now, maybe he could have had a name in high school and already from, 9th grade. But I doubt she really understood the implications of his name. And I highly doubt she foresaw this becoming his life, being that they're from Akron, Ohio. So we would deem that as an organic and a natural, legitimate connection. When you look at Jay-Z and Beyonce, Jay-Z has a unique set of features. So his features in school, which all black people, we went to school, we know that if your lips were a certain size, if your nose was a certain size, you were bullied, you were picked on by a certain group of people. By certain people just made jokes. I have a big head. I have a hook head, so my head is shaped like a watermelon. Some guys' head shaped like a baseball. Some guys like a cantaloupe. My head shaped like a watermelon. So I went through a lot of, just really from friends and family, a lot of head jokes. Boy, you better turn on a blinker signal before you turn your head. Boy, you look at your feet, you gonna fall on the ground. Boy, you don't have dreams, you have movies. And so I went through that. And I understand that we all got our own little something that we get picked on about. So when we look at this, now when you look at Beyonce, she looked really, I got a picture of Beyonce from when she was a teenager. A guy sent it to me because his family knew them, the Destiny's Child. And his grandma had a cookout or something, and Destiny's Child was at his house. And it was her, I think it was LaToya Luckett. I sent the picture to LaToya Luckett. And she was like, wow, where you get that from? But it was a guy that I met somewhere on Twitter or something. And he sent that to me for some reason. I don't know if it was because he saw that LaToya Luckett followed me or saw me take a picture with her or something at an event. But he sent me that picture. And LaToya Luckett and Michelle Williams followed me on Twitter. And he sent me that picture. So I got a picture from Beyonce when she was a teenager. And she looked the same as an adult. She's not one of them people that like glowed up. Like she's just an older version of her younger self. So that look, I know because I was in middle school and high school, Beyonce's look still would have been the pretty girl in school. She would have been deemed pretty. We don't have drop dead gorgeous, because young men, when you're 8th grade, when you're in 12th grade, you really can't process gorgeous. It's just a girl is pretty to you or not. And it ain't really, ain't no young men falling out. So I can take and look at Jay-Z's look and look at Beyonce's look and say in the 8th grade, that wouldn't have been a fit. That girl would not have liked that boy, because that boy would have had the same size lips and the same size nose, but in a much skinnier and shorter body. So it would have been a different look. And so he would have been, unless he's a dope boy. Now, if he's a dope boy, now you got money, power, respect. And what they say, come after money, power, respect, then the women. So that was the exception to the rule. So once again, the money became the exception to the rule. Now, if we being real with ourselves, one thing that we see keep a lot of women, and one thing that 9 out of 10 women are a victim to, is a man's money. Now I want you to sit with that. And I'm talking about a man who wants you now. I'm not talking about you gain weight, your whole body change, your look change, your man got money, he cheat on you, he do you wrong, and then you leave him, but really he wasn't trying to keep you. Really, he was okay with you leaving. He let you go. But I'm talking about, you give a man money, and this man is chasing and begging his woman to forgive him and to love him. 9 out of 10 women stay. And we can't say that you're wrong, because those women are processing, why am I going to leave this financial stability for being mistreated and then go to another man and get mistreated and not have financial stability? That's the reasoning behind a lot of it. Or why am I going to leave and take my kids from the lap of luxury and comfortability to a place of struggle? And even if I get alimony and child support, it's not going to equate to the lifestyle I have if I stay here. So a lot of women get stuck for that reason. And a lot of men may not grow. Now, if a man really loves his woman, he's going to grow. He's going to grow, and he's going to try to change and be a better man when she brings to his attention, you're mistreating me, you're hurting me, and although you got money and all of that, and although I love you, you're hurting me, and I'm not going to be able to do this. If the man truly loves her, then he's going to grow and he's going to change. He could be undersized. He could be deemed unattractive. He could be whatever. If he loves her, he's going to grow and change. If he doesn't really love her and he feels like you were only ever with me for the money anyways, he's going to stay the same or get worse, and he's going to make her have to make a choice. And so we see these different dynamics. But what we have today is you have a lot of women who see themselves as pretty, see themselves as a great catch. But the man that they are looking for, it's not enough of those men to go around. So therefore, you have a lot of women with an unrealistic expectation. They are looking for a unicorn, and they may or may not be a unicorn. But even if the woman is a unicorn, it's still just not a lot of unicorn men walking around. And it's not a lot of unicorn women walking around, although a woman may say that or may think she is. And the same with a man. So what's happening is majority of the single women who are desired by men like her body, men like her face. Majority of those women have a list of preferences and standards that less than 1% of men can meet. And then here's what happens. What happens is the man who is a unicorn, the man who can meet those standards, he is equally or greater in his picky preferences. He has a list of what he's looking for. So the woman may check the list in her face and in her body, but then she doesn't check the list in her brains. Or she may check the list in her brains and in her body and in her face, but she isn't domesticated, is the word that is being used. Meaning she is not into cooking, cleaning, laundry, but yet he feels and thinks that that this woman should have the looks, should have the body, should have the brains, should have the spirituality, cook as good as a chef, clean as good as a housemaid, and be as good as a mother as a full-time nanny. And be all of that in one. So he wants her to have hustle and ambition, which if she has that, she's going to build a business, and it's going to be a high 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure business. It's going to demand a lot of time and attention. If it demands a lot of time and attention, it's going to take away from one or two things. It's going to take away the time she has to work on her body, or it's going to take away from the time she has to help raise her kids. So she's going to slack in one of those areas. If she's slacking with her kids, that means she can afford a nanny because her business is doing really well. But men look down on a woman secretly, may not say it, but men kind of despise, and I say this on average, not every man, but most men, this the barbershop talk that y'all been invited to, that a lot of men who ain't real men can't admit this in the comment section, but a lot of men do not like the idea of a nanny raising their kids. They want the woman who genetics is in that baby, or the woman who birthed that baby, to be the primary caregiver to their children. But if he also wants her to be a hustler and grinder because he doesn't want her, quote unquote, living off of him, now he's asking for almost the impossible. There's a few women who pull it off, meaning 7-figure business, no nanny. 6-figure business, no nanny. There's some women who pull it off, but that is an exception. That's not the rule. And even though some women can do it, doesn't mean that it's healthy. It doesn't mean that she's sane. It doesn't mean that she's happy just because she's making it happen. Making it happen is not synonymous with being happy. So then now this pretty woman, we're going to keep saying this, okay, deemed by society, not by Tony Gaskins. This woman who got these standards and she's looking for this in this man also looking for this in this woman. So judge as you desire to be judged. But what humans fail to realize is that there's different standards and requirements. So a woman may say, hey, I want to have the same freedom and the same leeway as a man. But that man may say, we're not the same. The man may say, hey, you have breasts that provide milk, so you should be breastfeeding our children, not turning our children over to a nanny. That woman may say, I'm a mom, but I'm also a boss babe. I ain't got time to be breastfeeding and have my breast sagging and to be going through all them body changes, and my business is suffering because I'm now at home with the baby 16 hours out the day. So guess what? They end up on different pages. And this is what's causing this breakdown. And now we're going to expand it from pretty woman to a lot of qualified and ready women. It's really coming down to the list, because the issue that men and women are having is you're looking for your equal. You're looking for your reflection. You're looking for, and so many people say this, like so many men who are hustlers and go-getters, they want a woman who's a hustler and a go-getter. Two hustlers and go-getters rarely go together. The reason being is because if you want to start a family, if both of the parents are hustling and go-getting, then who is with the kids? And so what happens is these people, so many couples, so many individuals go look for their reflection. You find your reflection, and then you realize that your strength as a couple is not in your similarities, it's in your differences. So if the man want to be rich and famous and the woman want to be rich and famous, now both of them is rich and famous and their kids are alone. But if the man want to be rich and famous and the woman, she prefers, not she is relegated to, she prefers the background. Now they are actually a better fit than two hustlers, because she doesn't want the limelight. She doesn't want to live on the road. She doesn't want to live out of the suitcase. She doesn't want to tour. She wants to be home with her kids. She wants to raise her kids. So now his desires and his goals do not conflict with hers. They fit like a puzzle piece. And so what's happening is when you are desired as a man or a woman, and I know this title say about women, unless I update and change why the desired man and woman are single. If you desire as a woman, you want a man who is desirable because you feel like you deserve that and you feel like that's the level that you're on. And you want somebody who has put in the work or sacrificed or whatever like you have, if you glowed up. Now, if you was always been her, then you may want a man who just either glowed up or he's always been him. And that's where the problem lies, because now that's very few and far in between. And then what happens is you get together and you're both on the same level. You're a reflection of each other. You take pictures for Instagram and the whole world, and you literally look like you have just stepped out of a magazine. It doesn't look like anybody's carrying the other person. You look equally strong, equally handsome, equally everything, accomplished. You look equal. But when you are that close in identity, see, you could be equal and be opposites. But when you're equal and you're the same, this then turns into competition. So now when you see these desirable women and men get into a relationship, a lot of times it doesn't last, because they end up competing for attention, competing for looks, competing for business, competing for money, competing for promotions or advancements in life or in their career, in their business. And this competition is unhealthy because they're not pushing each other. They're more so in spite of each other. And this starts to cause a lot of problems. So I want you to think about this and understand that when you grow into this, or you glow up into, you're where you need to be. You are where you need to be. Brains, brand, and body. You have to be very careful with your preferences and your standards. You got to understand the difference, okay? Standards are rooted and relate to morals and values. And I made this up, okay? I made this up. Somebody else may have the same concept, but I ain't heard nobody else say it like this. This from my mind. This from my experience and my studies. Standards should be rooted in morals and values, your belief system. So if you say, here's an example. If you say, I want someone who is 6 foot or taller, this person cannot control their height. So that has nothing to do with your morals and values or their morals and values. That only has something to do with his genetics. Now, if you say, I want someone who is in decent shape, in good shape, that can be based on morals and values unless the person has a health issue. So if someone says, I have a thyroid issue, which I don't know which way it is, if it's overactive or underactive, and don't really care to know. Don't y'all put a million comments in the comments. Oh, that's and that's what I got. Listen, don't really care to know. If somebody has a thyroid issue and they are heavier than normal, then that should be an exception to the rule, because they can work out, and their body's not responding, or it's not doing what your body would do if you put in that same amount of work. But if someone is not working out, if someone is not taking care of their body, if someone is choosing to eat bad and choosing to skip workouts, and as a result they are putting on weight, then that is a reflection of their values. It's a reflection of their priorities. It's a reflection of where they are in their life, where they're operating from, their self-control, their mindset, their mentality. And if it's not genetic and health related, if it's a choice, then that's a fair standard to have. If you say, I want someone who is Christian, that is a standard, because your belief system is connected directly to your morals and your values. So now that is a standard. So what you have to look at, now if you say, I want someone who earns 6 figures, that is not connected to morals and values. That is a preference, because a person could be an amazing person, but if they choose to be a director of the Boys and Girls Club in an impoverished city, because that is their purpose, helping the youth, helping develop the youth, the salary may be $30,000 to $80,000, depending on the city, depending on the budget in that city or county. And so this person who is an amazing man, but his purpose caps out at $50K a year. So if you write him off because he's not at 6 figures, you've just written him off based on a preference, not a standard, because his income does not define him. Now, if you say you want a man to have a job, to want to work, to be ambitious and want to work, this is a standard. Because if this man is lazy and he says he doesn't want to work for a living, he just wants to be taken care of and he just wants to play video games, now this reflects his values. So when you grow into this man or woman who is ready for love, who is desirable, and you are your version of pretty, and I don't just mean looks, I mean you are presentable. You are brain, brands, body, male or female, and you're now in this space of, you would be deemed by majority of people as a desirable potential mate for someone. When you grow into that place, you have to look and see, you got to ask yourself, am I the reason I'm single? Ooh, hey, that's a hard question now. That's a hard question. Now listen. Now this coming from the trenches, okay? This coming from the trenches now. This coming from the field. What I have noticed is that most singles are single because of themselves. Now, here is the thing. God did not give us the ability to see ourselves through the eyes of others. You might need to get on mymentor.life and sign up for a session with me or another coach. Because if you are single and you do not desire to be single, this is not a choice. You're not turning down options because you desire to be single, but you are ready to be in a relationship. You may need an outside opinion, some feedback from an outsider, that you give a license to honesty. You license this person to be brutally honest with you. And you have at least an hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hours of conversation with this person where you are doing the talking. You're expressing your mindset, you're expressing your life, you're expressing your history, your present, your belief system, and then you're allowing this person, and it can be a male or a female, because everybody could see it. Everybody could see us except us. So if I'm a jerk, you can see that I'm a jerk. And sometimes I'm a jerk. If I'm a nice guy, you can see that I'm a nice guy. If I'm arrogant and conceited, you can see that I'm arrogant and conceited. If I'm humble and kind, you can see that I'm humble and kind. I might not know or be able to see that, whoa, in this moment, Tony, you was arrogant and conceited. But you'll be able to see it. And so if you're able to say to me, hey, Tony, right there, man, you real arrogant. Man, you real condescending. You real conceited. Now, I'm able to say, wow. If I made you feel that way, it got to be something to it. And so what's happened is I remember so many times coaching single women and just being on the call. And in 1 hour, I'm like, this is why she's single. This is why she's single. And it may be she's a know-it-all. She know-it-all. She don't want to hear nothing. She's so set in her ways. She is a know-it-all. A know-it-all woman cannot have a husband because a man is a leader. A man is the head of the household. So if a woman is not open to hearing opinions, to hearing other people's thoughts, and to relinquishing the will sometimes, now a good strong man gonna let a woman lead in her areas of strength. But if this woman don't believe she have blind spots, if she don't believe she have weaknesses, and she know it all, and any type of feedback, any type of critique, she got an excuse and a rebuttal, she gonna remain single her whole life. And the only time she gonna be in a relationship is with a man who is there to use her for what her mouth and her personality and her character and her go-getter attitude has earned her. He's there to milk her for that. So I see that. I see that. Another thing I see is single women who they are single because they do not know their worth. So they don't love themselves. No real man, no good man wants a woman that is a pushover. Meaning a woman who will loan a man money and he's not her husband. A woman who will sleep with a man because he wants to sleep with her, not because she's ready to sleep with him. A woman who will let a man talk to her any kind of way, talk down to her, and she stays there in the conversation, she stays in the room, she stays in the relationship. So the women who are pushovers and don't know their worth eventually get left by a good man because he wants a woman that's gonna hold him accountable. And it's a balance from challenging him and disrespecting him and belittling him and making him feel like he's dumb because she knows it all, and her challenging him and pushing him forward and getting him to think outside of his box. But she's also willing to think outside of her box. There's a difference. So that woman is also single. Another thing is a woman who is into the extremes. So the woman who gets too slim or gets too voluptuous. So the woman who goes and gets a whole lot of booty put in, does the fat transfer, does the butt lift, and does a whole lot of booty. Really big, abnormally big. Does the tummy tuck, does the breast, does the lips, does the filler, does the Botox, does the triple volume lashes, does the microbladed eyebrows, does the face full of makeup, lips full of lip gloss or lipstick, head full of a lot of weave. That is to the extreme. So a man cannot relate to her. He struggles relating to her because he sees her as like a pin-up doll, push-up doll, dress-up doll. He sees her as a character. Like this booty, this breast, these lips, these cheekbones, these eyebrows, these eyelashes, this makeup. This is an outfit for a movie. Now listen, this hurts. This hurts because I know that woman is watching this video. And if you are single or you're in a relationship and you feel used, you feel disrespected, that is why. Because he sees you, he doesn't see you as a human anymore. Because you've changed everything about you. So he sees you as a character. He sees you as, you may be a very loving, caring person, but to him, he sees you as soulless. Because you've changed everything about you and who God made you. And you let a man, a doctor, build you and remake you from what God made you. So it dehumanizes you in the sight of the man. And that's why we see a lot of women who have all of that right there get in relationships, but the relationships don't last. Or they get in relationships and they get treated like a toy. They get treated like a do-girl. They get treated like a full-time prostitute or a full-time exotic dancer that is like on staff, on salary with this man. Yes, he will buy her a G-Wagon. Yes, he will put her in $1 million house. Yes, he will take her to see exotic places in the world. But he is treating her like he's his property, like she's a robot. So to that extreme. The other extreme is a woman who does nothing. She loses all of her weight. She becomes very, very thin on purpose, not genetically, on purpose. And she doesn't do anything to enhance herself. And there's another little fine print in there to where a woman who is her natural shape, and regardless of her shape, wherever she's at, she's confident in her shape, in her weight, but she does nothing to adorn herself. So she never gets a hairdo. She doesn't do her nails. She doesn't, fix her face. It doesn't mean a face full of makeup, but a good skin routine so that at least your face is, clearing up or cleared up and you're doing the work. Facials, 3-step cleansing process, waxing your eyebrows or plucking your eyebrows or microblading your eyebrows, but doing something to clean up. Putting a little lip gloss on, a little lipstick. You don't have to get fake lashes, but just get the lash brush and volumize a little bit. Do your hair. You don't have to put in weave, but you're taking care of your hair, whether that's a low cut, medium cut, a little short cut, long hair, but you're taking care of yourself. So what this man is looking for, the man who is ready. I'm not talking about a selfish, greedy man who has not done the work on himself. What this man is looking for, and the reason why I'm sharing this perspective, because a lot of times women be like, well, what about the woman and what the woman looking for? I'm a man. I'm not sitting on here talking about, I don't look at men. So y'all got to understand that. Some of this is just going to be for women because I'm a man. So I'm giving you the blueprint based on what a man is looking for. And if you don't care about that, then the video ain't for you. And we also don't need to hear from you in the comments, because this is for those who understand and appreciate perspective, knowledge, and wisdom, and they want to know the perspective of a male because they want to be with a male, so they care about what a male thinks because that is their goal, to be married. If you do not care about what a man thinks and how men view the world, because you see men as imperfect and you know men are imperfect and you want men to be perfect before men have a desire or a care or a perspective, then this is not the channel for you. This is not the video for you. Please exit stage left. Don't let the door hit you in the back. And be quiet. Thank you. Because you're disrupting the learning. And that always happens on the video. What about the man? Listen, go to a page with a woman talking, telling the man what a woman is looking for. And that's for you. So now, listen. So this man who is ready, he's done the work on himself. He is doing what I'm talking about the genders need to do. He's doing the work. When he's ready, what he's looking for is a woman who is naturally her, but she enhances her beauty in proportion. She enhances her beauty with some respect, meaning she's not trying to go from looking like Freddie Jackson to Janet Jackson. She might want to go from looking like Freddie Jackson to Frida Jackson. But she ain't trying to look like no whole nother person. She enhancing her. So she take and she get classic volume lashes if she is okay and she's not allergic to the glue and she okay with lashes being put on, she get classic volume lashes. If she doesn't want lashes, she gets a lash brush and a little mascara and she volumizes her own lashes. If she cannot take pain, she doesn't do microblading, but instead she gets those excess hairs with either a tweezer, either she get it waxed, she get it threaded, but she's enhancing her eyebrows if needed. Her skin, she got a morning and a night routine. If she got a little breakout, she got a little acne, that's okay as long as she washing her face with a real routine twice a day. It lets him know she's a real person, her hormones is kicking, and that's where it shows up at. She's against birth control to control her acne or breakouts or hormone balance. She don't want birth control. She don't believe in the pills, or she okay with the pills or birth control and she take birth control. That's her choice. The man don't really care about the intricate details. He just want to see a woman who loves herself, but is okay and willing to enhance herself a little bit. My 8-year on the game, and he is talking up. I don't know if the person is okay with him talking up or getting fed up with him, but boy, he is going in on that game. He got my attention. And so that's what this ready man, okay? We ain't talking about no broke, busted, disgusting, begging man now. This ready man, that's what he's looking for. And so listen, what I'm seeing is when I'm looking at this, because the reason why I gear this talking to women and then it be women on here complaining about that, is because 96% of my viewers are women. If it was more men, then I would be talking to men. So 4% of my message and 4% of my video is going to be to men. So then people say, well, Tony, why don't you make more videos to men if you want to have more men? The reason why is because when I make a video to a man, I'm not in the algorithm for videos to men, so YouTube does not show it. They do not push it. And if you go back and you look at my videos for men on Fridays, you will notice they get 1,000 views because YouTube don't even let you know that it's been posted because I'm not in the algorithm for that. So I'm in the algorithm for the male perspective on love and relationships. So typically it's talking to a woman because men already know my perspective. What I'm telling y'all, although I'm a professional coach, and although I've written several books on this, and although I've been doing this for a long time, a homeless man who sleeps under a tree or under a bridge can tell you the exact same thing I'm telling you. He will say it in his own words, but he will tell you the exact same thing I'm telling you. A introverted science tech coding man who is white will tell you the exact same thing I'm telling you. A hood drug dealing man who is a killer drug dealer will tell you the exact same thing I'm telling you. Men only think one or two ways. Grown boy, grown man. Point blank period. Point blank, I done tested, I done tried it. Point blank period. And so this is what this man is looking for. Now see, listen, the men who are not really ready and they looking for something more than this, they looking for something different than this, they suffering from the same syndrome as the women. So there is a remnant of men and women who are single who think they are worth more than what they are. They think the stuff don't stink. And they want to have more options than what the universe has set in place. If you are a 5'6" man, your options is not going to be plentiful. It's just what the universe has set in place. Because we come from a people of divide and conquer. So what that means is we divide up our land, we divide up our things, and the powerful conquer the weak. So if you are a man who is 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", you cannot be waiting on a woman who is desired by every man. It's just not going to happen until you get you 7 figures, and then she is with you more for your money than for you. So you have to understand, there is a woman who is okay with a 5'6" man. She may not look like a Victoria's Secret model. She may not look like a runway model. She may be pretty, but she may be 5'3", not 5'9", or 5'7". She may be 5'3". She may be 4'11". She may have meat on her bones, a little more meat on her bones than what the magazine and the movies show you. But that's just where she's at right now today. She is okay with working out. She has nothing against working out. She has nothing against eating healthy. She just has not had the support, the knowledge, or the guidance, but she is in process. So as a 5'6" man, you gotta come off that high horse and stop thinking that you're that tall. No, you're sitting on a high horse. When you get off of that horse, now you're gonna see the world on this hill level, and you gotta understand that in the natural process of selection, a woman with long legs is not checking for you because it's a natural process of selection. She's not checking for you. At 5'6", as a man, there's nothing wrong with being 5'6". But this woman that is drop dead gorgeous to you, she has every single man coming after her. So the 6'4" man wants her. If height represents security, subconsciously 6'4" is going to make her feel more secure than 5'6". You have to be okay with that. You got to be okay with that. If she has an 8-pack of abs and you do not have an 8-pack of abs, a man with an 8-pack of abs is approaching her. So when she think about a man who can keep up with her in the gym, who's going to want to eat kale and balsamic vinegar with her, if you have a dad bod, you're not going to be her first choice. Because when she want to eat kale and balsamic vinegar, and you want to go to In-N-Out Burger, Jack in the Box, you messing up her meal plan. You disrupting her goals. So this is what we got to understand. Now I'm speaking to the male because I could speak a little more direct to men, because we done been taught to like this our whole life. Whereas with women, if I'm just as direct, nah, I'm getting canceled. But I got to be direct with the women too. And the same thing goes, but it's the reverse. And I have seen this. I have seen women who do not have the body that they're requiring. I've seen women with a lot of body, not in a good way, say they want a slim man. Listen, if he's slim, and he's slim by his eating choices and his workout habits, that means he's slim by choice. If he's slim by choice, he may not want to pick a woman who is not slim by choice, by habits, by living habits, eating habits, working out habits. Now, if it's by health and genetic reasons that the woman is not slim as him, then a good man, a real man, could be open to getting to know her for her and understand that. So listen, we have to get real with ourselves and understand where we are. We got to understand where we are, because there is a natural process of selection, and we have to understand the natural process of selection. So when you look at a couple that does not go together, it's typically, when you look at the inner workings, there is an outlying reason why this couple is together. And it typically has to do with money, power, status, connections, or something of the sort. So when you see a really beautiful woman with an unattractive man, it's typically because one or two things. That man provides stability. That man has money. That man has money, power, connections. Or that woman lost all of her values and standards, and she had been reduced to selling her body. Escort, sex industry. And although she is beautiful externally, she feels no beauty internally. So this man who is deemed unattractive by society, she sees him as beautiful because she's looking at his heart and not at his look. So it's typically one of those two things. The latter is very rare. That's a very rare case. And vice versa. When you see an attractive man with a that you would deem unattractive woman, in that case, it's typically one or two things. The woman has money and connections. And I could give y'all some examples, but I just try to stay away from real life examples, because you never know who ready to kill by their name. It's a certain things that you could say about me that I might put a hit on your life. And I'm being 100% serious. I'm not joking. I know some of y'all, I tell a joke with a straight face, or some of y'all, but it's certain things that if you say about me or my family, I'll put a hit on your life. And I might not put a hit on your life. I might take your life myself. I'm being 100% honest with you. So because I understand my mind work like that, I understand other people's mind work like that. So I have to be careful when I'm speaking on people, because you never know where a person's sensitivity is at, especially when you're speaking on men. But it's even some women that's built like that too. So how I mentioned earlier, Kevin Hart, and I made a real life example, Jay-Z. The reason why I said that is because they so big, they so high up. That's a whole lot of risk for them to take to put a hit on my life. Now, a D-list celebrity, they could put a hit on my life, and they'll take that chance because they ain't got a whole lot to lose, and they will assume not many people will be suspecting them. So listen, and so that's just how my mind thinks. It may not be real, it may not be the world we live in, but that's just how I view things. And so now listen. When you see a woman who you deem or society deems as unattractive or less attractive with a man, and you see a man who is decently attractive, he don't have to be drop dead gorgeous to you, if that's even a term. I've heard women use that term referring to men, so that's why I say that. He don't have to be the best looking man, but he is attractive compared to her. Typically, you see that's for one or two reasons. This almost 50-50. This almost split down the middle. The two reasons is the woman is connected. She connected, she come from money, she got money, she connected. I'm gonna take a chance on this now. Y'all do not share this, okay? Y'all don't tell these people I said this now, cause I don't know this brother here. He look like he got a mean streak. Nah, I ain't gonna say it. But I'm thinking about a particular white woman who was heavy set. She had some meat on her bones. And she done went through weight loss journey, and now she done slim way down. And she dating a black man who he always been slim. He didn't come from a heavyset man to a slim man. He always been slim. She would have been deemed less attractive or unattractive by society when she had that weight on her. And then now she done lost the weight. She got beauty in the eye of the beholder beauty. Her mama believes she's beautiful. God believes she's beautiful. And then certain men will think she's beautiful. But it won't be across the board that she's beautiful. It's an acquired taste look. But then now she with a black man. So for one, black and white being together, you already doing something that's taboo in a lot of communities. So that take a lot of nerve and guts and boldness to do that. And then it's certain type of looks. This black man could get at his status near by any black woman. But it's not a lot of black women that's available on his level that got the money of this white woman. Also, because of this white woman industry, and I'm not asking y'all to put names in the comments. This ain't what you call that show? The Fortune show. This ain't Wheel of Fortune. I'm not asking y'all to put names in the comments, okay? So y'all try to be on here and abide by the rules of the channel so that you can stay on here and not get blocked. But if you could guess and you come up with it yourself, then you come up with it yourself. And whoever you guess, I'm gonna say I ain't talking about that couple. Say I'm talking about another couple. So, because I ain't speaking names on this. But this man, he could have any black woman. But he chose his white woman because this white woman is uniquely set up. And it's not really, there's not a black woman on her level financially. And legacy money, generational money. Because the industry that this white woman is in, she gonna have money the rest of her life. She gonna be getting royalty checks the rest of her life. And she could do what she do the rest of her life pretty much. So therefore, this man will make an exception to the rule. Because although she might not be the prettiest, although she might not be the fittest that he can get at his level of success, she got something else that is worth as much to him. And it could be personality, but it also is that bag. Point blank period. Point blank period. Listen to what I'm telling you now. Listen what I'm telling you. So that's one of the reasons you see a man who you say is good looking, okay looking, attractive, be with a woman who you say is less attractive or unattractive, or in society says. You might not believe the way society, you might not judge people the way society judge people. So that's why I say both of those. The other reason is because the man is down low. The man is down low. It's not accepted by his family or his religion or his culture, his country, his race. And so he gets with a woman who is just anybody. And he gets with a woman who is deemed unattractive because he knows she doesn't have a lot of experience with men because of how the world treats her and sees her. She hasn't had a lot of boyfriends, so she won't pick up on his mannerisms and his gestures and his sayings and his behaviors that give away he's a down low man. And this man could be deemed attractive by women and society. But if he gets with a woman who is equally as attractive, he knows that she has had enough men in her life to compare him to, and that she will eventually pick up that he is bisexual, what they call it bisexual, but that he is a down low man. So that is when you see a man and you say, and this especially applies to in the everyday world. When you see a man and you say that man would be seen or deemed handsome, and you see that woman and you say that woman would be deemed as less attractive or unattractive, 9 out of 10 times. And the reason what I'm saying is because women get mad about this and they say, oh, well, I'm ugly and I got a husband and my husband attractive. So you trying to say my husband down low, or you trying to say my husband with me for my money? I ain't even got no money. I work a regular job. For one, yes, I'm trying to say that if you are part of the rule. Two, no, I'm not saying that if you are an exception to the rule. So is it possible for an attractive person who would be deemed attractive by society to genuinely love and be with someone who would be deemed unattractive by society? Yes, it is possible. Is it common? No. Is it likely? No. Is it possible? Yes. Has it happened? Yes. Has it happened hundreds of thousands of times, maybe a million plus times? Yes, because we have 7 billion, 8 billion people in the world. So although it can happen a million plus times, in respect to how many people, humans on earth, this is not a lot. So I want you to understand this. So listen, humans are selective. You select what car you drive. You select where you live at. You select the clothes you wear. You select the hairstyle. You select how you dress your kids. You select your job. Humans are selective, and humans are highly selective. And the selection process is a natural, organic, real process. So typically you see, that is why people say, my wife and I look like siblings. Because in the natural selection process, when you're not choosing with ulterior motives, you're going to choose someone that you feel is on your level. And that's why they say, that's why it's a lot of couples that they say y'all look like siblings. It's not that their features change. My nose ain't changed. My wife's nose ain't changed. When people say, oh, y'all start to look together, look like each other the longer you know, that's not true. Nobody's features is changed. They always looked alike. You just ain't know them when they got started, or you just ain't pick up on it when they got together. But if you say they look like siblings, you say me and her love, we always look like this. It's just we chose on our level. We said, oh, I like my nose. She got a nose like mine. I like the way my eyes sit. Her eyes sit about like mine. I like my lips. Her lips about like mine. I like my round face. Her face round like mine. I'm 5'10", so I'm under the height level. She don't have a 6-pack of abs. So she got something that some men gonna look at her and say, oh, I don't like that. Got a little meat on the stomach. And I got something that women gonna say, oh, I don't like that he 5'10". So now she got some things that's people is discrediting, discounting, and I got some things that's discrediting, discounting. So now when you look at it and you go through the checklist of our assets and liabilities, or pluses, pros and cons, we even out. And we say, oh, let's be together. So it's like this right here. I'm 5'10", so, and her exes was, 6 foot or taller, the guys who she had talked to before me, but their face wasn't what she deemed as handsome as my face. So because she looked at my face and she said, my wife, she said to me one time, And I was like, man, you don't even like me, man. You don't even like me. I was being insecure. She said, I don't. She said, this her talking. I ain't saying this another woman talking now. This my wife talking. She said, I don't think you realize how fine you are. And that was her. And that thing made me feel good. But I looked at her ex-boyfriend and I saw him. And I done seen a couple other guys that, you know, talked to her for a little bit, dated in high school. And I could look at them and tell that's not a look that's praised or chased by women. But then also, my wife, she was pretty, but whereas other girls may be pretty in the face, they may have a bigger booty, or if they had a flatter stomach. So then a guy would take and put them higher on the rung, on the ladder, than her. Whereas a woman may look and say, well, Tony's face don't look bad, but there's this guy over here who face look just as good as Tony's face, but this guy is 6'2". So he go higher on the ladder than me because I'm 5'10". Now we don't have the exact same features, but if she say I'm a 7 and she say he a 7, our features could be totally different. But if he's 6'2" and I'm 5'10", we both on the same level financially. We both got the same religion. He's gonna be higher on the ladder. And so this is the thing that's going into this selection process. And this is what we got to be real about. So this is why I'm very real about this thing. And I say, listen, I'm 5'10", and this is how I came to this realization. Is I've coached thousands of women and on relationships. And one of the questions I asked, well, what is your list? I could count on my hand. I could count on my two hands how many women said height doesn't matter. Every other woman, the other thousands of women said 6 foot or taller. So that let me know, me being 5'10", that counts against me. So I could be sitting on the phone and wondering if I'm attractive to my client, or wondering if, you know, without status, wondering if a man who is built just like me, got everything, you know, look just like me, built just like me, is single in this world. I could be wondering, would she be attracted to my twin brother? Would she be attracted to my mentee who is very similar to me? But when she lists out her list and she say 6 foot or taller, guess what? I'm not even going to introduce her to my mentee because he's 5'9", 5'10". I don't want to waste her time. I want her to have what she praying to God for. And so at that point, that's when I learned that. And so this is what we have to do when it comes down to our looks. It's not about discounting yourself. It's not about discrediting yourself. It's not about having low self-esteem or low confidence. It's about understanding the natural selection process, but also understanding preferences and standards. And so understanding that everybody else that get to choose you, people that looking at you, they have preferences and standards. They also have a natural selection process. So when you look and you understand that, you understand you have preferences and standards, and you also have a natural selection process. So when you get selected, you got to evaluate, why were you selected by this person? And does this selection make sense? Is it pure and genuine and organic? Because here's the thing. A lot of times a person gets selected and they don't value themselves, so they don't understand why they were selected. So a woman could be selected by a man that she feels is extremely handsome, but the woman doesn't take into consideration that she makes $70,000 a year and this man makes $30,000. So she assumes that this is an organic, natural, real connection. But really, he chose her for her financial stability. This woman could know how the world treats her, and she could know that guys have not been drooling over her ever in her life. And then she is dating this guy that she knows several women are attracted to. And she could say, well, oh no, this is just what God got for me. This is just natural. This just how it happened. But she is not taking into consideration that her father is a celebrity, or that her father owns a very successful company, that this man knows if he marries this woman, he's going to get to work for her father, and he's going to have job security and financial security. She's not taking into consideration who her brother is, who her father is, who her mother is. She's just looking at it like, oh, this is just natural organic attraction. No, it is not. No, it is not. Especially if this person is not a very, very upstanding citizen. Now, if this person is full of morals, full of values, devout man of God, a great person, then yes, that could be an exception to the rule. But if this guy smoke weed, get drunk, just an everyday guy, then no, that's not a real organic connection. He has ulterior motives. And so this is what I'm trying to tell y'all is, especially to y'all singles who you done come to the place of desirability, or you about to be at that place of desirability where you is ready, you position, you ready, got your 3 B's, brain, brand, body. You have to take and evaluate your list. Look at your preferences, look at your standards. You also got to evaluate yourself. Look at your pros and cons and be real about yourself. Know what you bring to the table, know what you don't bring to the table, and be honest about who is a natural, organic, authentic, real fit for you. Do not try to date up because you want to seek approval. Because if you could get this person who you feel is higher on the rung of the ladder than you, a higher rung on the ladder than you, then you feel special because you got this person that everybody desires, that everybody thinks is good looking, that everybody thinks is successful. So you waiting on this person because you want to be validated. Make sure you're not doing that. And do not date down because you feel less than and you feel worthless and you feel like your body clock is ticking and you just need to have anybody. Because all they're going to do is use you. And they're going to end up treating you just like somebody who would be looking down on you. It's going to flip. So listen, this is a real deep lesson now. It's a real deep lesson. Y'all forgive me. I don't know how this ended up getting titled. It's a deep lesson now. It's hard to take now. And if you get what I'm saying, if you're on that level, y'all help me out in the comments. Because sometimes people just genuinely don't understand it because their brain stop working. They hear something that step on their toes. They hear something that talk to them. They hear something that offend them and they shut down because we want to hear everything that fit inside of our narrative. And when we hear something that don't fit inside of our narrative, we get upset and then we just start thinking about our rebuttal and our argument and we fail to listen to everything. And then also some people don't realize that I'm going to leave some stuff out because I'm not talking with note cards. I'm talking off the top of my head and from my heart, but I'm not using note cards. I don't have bullet points to remind me every point to hit. And I don't do that because my brain don't work like that. If I put the list down, you won't get all the natural filler and all the extra additional wisdom that I sprinkle in through here. You won't get that if I give myself bullet points. So I got to talk like this, but in that, I'm going to say some stuff. I'm going to say some stuff that could sound offensive, and I'm going to say some stuff that, and I'm going to leave some stuff out. And so you got to read between the lines and you got to kind of infer what I'm saying and be able to put it all together. So in closing, what I would say is, if you are single, evaluate yourself. Where are you? Are you where you need to be? Are you desirable? If you are, what do you desire? And are your desires realistic? Do they make sense? Or are they greedy? Are they selfish? Are they coming from a place of insecurity because you are seeking approval? If you are not where you need to be, what do you need to do to get to where you need to be? What changes do you need to make? Understand that. When you find somebody, when you meet somebody, evaluate them. Where are they? Are they where they need to be? Are they on your level? And what do they need to do? And what do you bring to the table for them? And what do they bring to the table for you? And is it a fit? Is it a fit? Is it organic? Is it natural? Does it make sense? Because if it's meant to be, it's going to make sense. It ain't going to be some crazy, wild, out-the-box thing. It's going to make sense if it's meant to be. Not to say that some people don't make any sense and don't get together, but we don't know the behind the scenes, the inner workings, or how long that relationship going to last. So, hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon. Oh, what I need to promote on here. Get on over to TonyGassonAcademy.com. Now, if you need your life coach, you need to talk to somebody, get to mymentor.life. But if you're ready to become a coach, or you're already a coach, or you already took a training, got a certificate, go join mymentor.life so you can start helping other people. It's Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.